I sold half my shares at 8 naira 50 kobo, and I kind of almost regretted it, but here's why I did the right thing. If you're a new investor and you don't know what to do when the stock that you bought rises, then watch this video to the end and I can explain to you how I got a share and I sold it at double the price when it rose to 100%, as a form of experiment, really. But it proved to me that yes, this step is the correct step, this strategy was the correct strategy. So watch this video to the end and you can comment any questions you have down below in the video comment section, any questions you have about investing as a beginner, as a new investor, and I will answer. A few months ago in October, I came into some extra cash and I didn't know what to do with it, because coach has been talking about giant shares for a long time, though I didn't pay much attention because I don't bank with them, though I know of them and I do visit them. I escort some of my friends to visit there. And because of the fact that it's a Sharia bank where their investment options are quite narrow, they mostly focus on halal investment that are not quite sinful, or you get the idea, like more of religious investment that are not quite sinful. They focus on that. So I didn't really put my mind to it, or thought I wanted a share. I wanted to buy shares from this bank. But since I came into that extra cash, I decided, okay, why not? So I got 20,000 Jai shares at 4 point something naira, 4.20 or so. And because of the commission, Carrywise took their commission. So the shares ended up at 4.53 kobo. That's right. So I paid about 90 something thousand for these 20,000 Jai shares, and my average for each share ended up at 4.53. I didn't really pay much mind to it. I just bought it and I thought, okay, since coach has been talking about these shares for a long time, I read about them and they're like, okay, fine, they have potential. I guess I can just leave this here, and then when it's at the deep or red, I'll just keep adding more, and then hopefully my average will come down to 4 naira. That was what I wanted. I wanted my average to come down to 4 naira. But because of I was more focused on other shares. Mostly, I was more focused on trying to gather the 1 million shares for other companies that there's like a 1 million shares challenge. If you're watching a video from Coach Omete, he made a 1 million shares challenge where you have to gather 1 million shares from companies and make sure you have up to 1 million shares of these companies. I was more focused on that, on other companies. I was not really interested in using Jai's Bank for my 1 million shares challenge. So I was more focused on putting money on other companies. And I guess I decided to leave my Jai shares at that 90,000 naira with 4 points. And over time, I forgot to add to it. I was more focused on others, so I forgot to add to it. But I guess it's a good thing because despite this small amount, it gave me the opportunity to show you out there who is a beginner investor with little funds that, yes, even if you start investing with 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 50,000, according to your capacity, within a few months, you can actually double your money. It is not impossible. Nothing is truly impossible. So moving on. So when I got these shares a few months down the line in January, I noticed Giants Bank shares kept going up. Before you know it, Giants Bank was at 5 naira, and I was like, huh. Because for a long time, Giants Bank was at red. Of course, because it was at red, the plan was always to add to it, but I didn't get up to it. Like I said, I was more focused on other companies. And to my surprise, it was already at 5. Then I felt a slight regret. I was like, damn. So for so long, I saw Giants Bank at 4 naira, 3 point. I think there was a time it came. Did it? I think there was a time people got it at 3 points, and I didn't get it because I was so focused on other things. So I felt a slight regret, and I guess it was already higher than my average, so I could not go into it anymore because I don't buy. Whenever I've gotten a share, I don't buy higher than my average. That was when I was a beginner. I no longer do it. Anytime I buy shares and my average is at 5 points, I always make sure to buy below 5. I don't go up any higher than 5 because you must take into account commission. When you're buying, they are going to be charging you commission. So even if you see the shares at 4 point something 5, you buy, they are going to add commission on top. It's just going to make your average go up. So I don't do that anymore. So I guess when it got to 5 points, I was shocked, but I was not bothered because I already have 20,000 shares. And what I know as an investor is the fact that what goes up must come down. So if the shares, like, let the shares be at 100 naira, 200 naira, I have the patience to wait until it comes back down so I can buy. I have that patience. It will come down. Of course, there are some companies that never comes down. Don't get me wrong. There are some companies that never comes down, but don't panic. It's stock market. Even if one company never comes down, there are literally hundreds of other companies out there that you can go after that will come down. So always keep your cool when it comes to the stock market. So moving on, around January time, it got to 5, then 6, and before you know it, 7, and it was hitting 8. I saw people actually placing bids at selling their Jais Bank at 9. I was honestly shocked because this is a share I saw at 3 naira, I saw at 4 naira, and suddenly people were rushing to buy it at 9 naira. I'm a long time investor. I don't buy shares for short term. I always buy my shares at least for 3 years. That is always my intention when buying shares. I buy shares for at least 3 years, not anything less than that. When I saw people bidding at 9 naira and saw the shares going up and down at 8.7, 8.5, 8.3, I was honestly tempted. And for 2 days, 3 days, I analyzed, contemplated, read, and so I came up with a strategy to follow, and this strategy helped me. So the strategy I finally decided to follow was to sell half. So I have 20,000 Jai shares, which I bought at 4.20 naira, but my average came down to 4.53 after the commission and everything was added to it. So when I saw that Jais Bank was selling at 8.50, 8.70, 8.60, yes, I put my bid at 9 naira 75. Cowrywise refused to accept that bid because it seems on Cowrywise, when you're placing a bid that is way higher than the current selling bid on the NGX floor, Cowrywise will refuse to place that bid for you. This is one of the reasons I don't like Cowrywise, by the way. There are so many limitations when it comes to buy and sell on Cowrywise. It exhausts me. So I was honestly pissed off, but yeah, we move. So Cowrywise rejected about 2 of the bids I placed. I think that was 9.75, 9.5 or so. Anyway, I'll place example on the screen here because I've forgotten the bid I placed, but they rejected so many of my bids. I was pretty angry. I sent a message to the customer care and everything, but then later I realized, oh, it was because my bid was higher than the highest selling bid on the NGX floor. That is why Cowrywise kept rejecting it. So I had to bring my bid down. So I bid that I would sell Cowrywise for 9.2 naira. That was the highest amount it was being sold for on the NGX floor, and Cowrywise accepted that. But later I thought one of the things that had made people lose so much in the stock market was greediness. If you're going to make money on the stock market, if you're not going to lose your capital on the stock market, then you have to eradicate greed. That is one thing that have killed many people and made many people rise on the stock market. Lack of greed can make you rise on the stock market, and plenty of greed can kill you and eradicate your capital on the stock market. So I decided, okay, no more being greedy. And one of the reasons I was placing such high bid was because I actually didn't want to sell. Like I said, I'm a long-time investor. I am not there for swing trade. I'm not there for day trading. I'm a long-time investor who is slowly accumulating shares so I can reap the benefits when I finally retire. But I was honestly very tempted when I saw it. And I was like, if I lose this chance to sell this and get profits, it might affect my mindset later. But if I sell all and it goes up higher than this, then I would regret it so much, so much, so much, so much. So what was I to do? So what I finally decided was to sell half. So I finally sold my half at 8 naira 50 kobo. Selling it, I made about 88,000 naira. I had 20,000 shares. I sold 10,000 shares and got 88,000 naira. Mind you, I bought all my 20,000 shares at 90,000 naira. So that means I had almost gotten my capital back. Otherwise, took their commission and I ended up with, I think, 83,000 naira. That means I have gotten almost all my capital back. Meanwhile, I still have about 10,000 shares left in my portfolio. And with these 10,000 shares, I have different options of what to do. First, I can actually hold these shares, just keep them and wait for the eventual rise of this share, because even if the share price comes down, it is always going to go up. That's what I believe. So I can actually hold these shares and just keep it for the long term till the share price goes up again. Two, I will wait for a dip. When the share price goes into red again below my actual average now, I will add more. I will slowly accumulate more back to the number of shares I have and actually increase more because I'm interested in adding more. Three, I can actually keep them long term for dividend because Jais Bank is a dividend paying bank. So I don't know how much they're going to be paying per share, but I know they're a dividend paying bank. So I can actually keep them, slowly accumulate more shares and earn dividend from them long term. So there are so many options left with this my 10,000 shares. If the share price never goes down for me to buy again and add to my share price, I believe in a year, 2 years, Jais Bank might actually go up to selling their share at naira per share, 30 naira per share, 25 naira per share, 19 naira per share. We never know. There is potential. The bank has potential. So in a few years time, the bank can actually go up higher. Then if I sell my 10,000 shares, do you know how much that is going to be worth? Let's do the calculation. if Jais Bank eventually goes up to 15 naira per share or 20 naira per share, and right now I'm only having half, and my cost of that 4.53 naira is about 45,000 naira. That is my original cost for it now. So if you times 15 naira times 10,000, or if you times 20 naira times 10,000, that would be how much. Right now my original capital for buying that 10,000 shares is 45,000. The share that is now costing me 45,000 naira, so my average and how much I paid for it, will in 2 years, or if we are lucky enough 1 year or 3 months down the line, might now get to 20 naira and 55,000 naira. Like, you can't go wrong with maths like this. Of course, like coach always says, the stock market is not a get rich quick scheme, but it does have certain ways of rewarding you. Sure, you might be going in with long-term view, but you never know, within a short few months, a shares you got for 5 naira with the intention of keeping it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years to earn dividend, or maybe sell it few years down the line at 100% profit or 200 or 400% profit. You never know, within a few months time these shares might go from 5 naira to 10 naira to 15 naira to 20 naira. And many people have seen this happen 2025, 2024. Many people who got MTN shares, say Plat, Better Glass, many people who got cheap shares like Okomo, Presco at decent prices, within a year, many of them became millionaires because those shares rose beyond what people were expecting. Those shares ran away like a moving train. There's always hope that the shares you bought for long term might suddenly just rise and make you a millionaire over the next few months. You never know. But don't get one thing wrong. If you're going to be benefiting from the stock market, you cannot buy shares of 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira and leave it there expecting if you come a few months later, if you come 1 year later, suddenly those shares are making you a millionaire. That is not going to happen. I made an example with these shares I bought because it is to show you that even if you got small shares, you don't rest and wait. You keep accumulating. I intended to do that with Jais Bank, but I didn't get to it because I was accumulating elsewhere. But this example is enough to show you that if you buy your fair shares at 10,000 naira, watch the markets, watch the order book, watch the NGX flow. When you see there's a red and there's a dip below the average, add 5,000 naira more, 10,000 naira more. But what you should always be conscious of is your commission, because when you're buying your shares at 3 naira, the brokerage app is always going to put commission and VAT on top of these shares. And that means if you buy your shares at 5 naira, your shares might end up costing you an average of 5 naira, 10 kobo, 5 naira, 20 kobo. That means they've add their shares, they've add VAT on top. You always have to analyze and be calculative whenever you're buying shares on the NGX floor. I'm okay with these commissions on top of my average because I'm buying it for the long term. So even if I buy them at 4 naira and my average end up as 4 naira 20 kobo, I know that I'm keeping these shares for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. So I'm not worried that I'm going to lose profit from the extra charges on my share. Please always be conscious of that when you're buying shares on the NGX floor. Another thing you must note is that you must protect your capital. You might not get profit, but you must always protect your original capital. It is very, very important. So one good thing about my sales of the Jais Bank shares is the fact that I protected my original capital, which is the intention. My original capital has been protected. So whatever I'm doing with the extra 10,000 shares that are left, it is now for me to say, I might sell, I might keep, I am not anxious about the remaining shares because I got my money back. Of course, I'm now using that money to reinvest into another share and then wait for a dip in Jais Bank to add to it. That is the decision I made. I'm going to wait for a dip and then I'm going to add to my Jais Bank shares, and I'm going to add so much more because oof. So that is one lesson you must always learn. That is the first lesson coach is always mentioning. Always protect your capital and don't lose money. So here's a tip for new investors or Nigerian youth who want to invest. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to read so many books, watch so many videos to start your investment journey. I never did. You just need to take a leap of faith. And another tip is you don't need large capital to start. Don't let the obsession with huge amounts of money, large capital, hundreds of thousands, millions confuse you. Just start. I always say this. I started with 2,000 naira. It was not because I didn't have more. It was just because it was a ticket for me to take a leap of faith into the stock market. That is what I started with, and that became my leap of faith. So please don't let capital or don't let finance stop you from starting your journey. You can always start more and grow later. Nothing is wrong with a small beginning. A small beginning can turn into a mighty foundation later. Another tip is follow the right mentor. Many people have lost their money and lost faith because of following the wrong people. Because many people will lead you astray. Many people will tell you you need signal, you need stock analysis signal. You don't need any of that. You just need to follow the right coach. You just need to follow the right mentor. You just need to hang out with the right people. Next video, I'll be talking about the top 5 blue chip stocks you can buy in Nigeria. There are certain companies that they will never fall, they will never go down, and they will always exist because of how essential they are to Nigerians. So next video, I'll be talking about these shares. As a beginner, if you have no idea where to start, if you don't know what to do, at least these 5 blue chip stocks will be a foundation for you to build your portfolio on. With these 5 blue chip stocks, just keep buying them, keep accumulating them, and sleep peacefully, knowing your capital is not going anywhere, because no matter what, even if they go down, they're always going to go up because they have that strength. That is what the next video will be about. And if you're a beginner investor who wants more advice, more tips, and more topics on investment, please don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Comment any questions you have about investing in the NGX floor, investing in the stock market, or earning money, and I would answer every single comment. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.